Florida is sitting around a 6 line, moving around a little bit, 6-point home favorite. Over under sitting at around 51. I've expressed some of my concerns for Kentucky, primarily the offensive line, which looked fairly shaky last week against a MAC team with a rebuilding defense. I don't know if we can still consider the Kentucky offensive line the big blue wall. So I do have some current concerns there, especially going up against Florida's defensive line. But I really like the under here. I made the case early in the week. I said, let's wait see if we can get 52, key number. And it looks like it was starting to come down. So I grabbed some 52 early tonight. I saw you did the same. And my handicap there is, look, I think the Kentucky offense really misses Wan'Dale Robinson, and I think will early in the season. The offensive line, there are issues. The backfield, not fully healthy. On the other side, Kentucky does a really good job of preventing explosive plays, always. And that is what you need to do against Anthony Richardson, because on a down-to-down basis, he's not going to really beat you with accuracy and throws up and down the field, but he will absolutely kill you with explosive plays. And Kentucky does an outstanding job at preventing those. So I think this total, which I think opened around soft openers, was like 48, and it took a lot of over. I think that was much closer to the correct number. So obviously 51, 52 being key numbers. I'd like the under here. You agree? And I assume you're going to make a case for your beloved Wildcats as well.
My beloved Wildcats. I do agree on the under. You mentioned the offensive line. There's no juice in Cavassier Smoke's running game whatsoever. There's no explosive. None of those running backs that got touches had any explosive. They purposely kept Will Levis's running game off film. Florida knows it's coming. We all know it's coming, but he didn't have any runs against Miami of Ohio. And I think there's a way to attack Florida. Specifically, the Utah attacked Mari Burney at linebacker. He was targeted 8 times by Utah, and they had plenty of success. So I think there's a path for the Kentucky offense to have a little bit of life. But Jordan Wright being cleared to play, to me, adds a ton of stability. He's been there for, I don't know, is this his 6th year? He's been there forever, 106 career tackles, 50.5 tackles for loss in his career. So, and you already said it. What we do know about the Kentucky defense is that they're well coached. They lead nationally in tackle grading and defending the explosive play. That's what you have to have when it comes to guarding Anthony Richardson. He created just one single missed tackle against Kentucky last year. Granted, he sat out the previous 2 games for injury, so we don't know how healthy he was when he came into that game. But listen, the market hates Kentucky. I think this game should be closer to Florida -2. Last week, that point spread moved 6 points away from Kentucky. That shows you how much the market hates Kentucky, even though that they covered. And now here we go again. The number that I think should be Florida -2 is up around 6. And even with the announcement Jordan Wright is playing, no movement to the line. And don't expect Chris Rodriguez to come back. That's probably going to be a 4-game suspension. So I think the spread is too high. I think Kentucky kept Levis's running off film. I think that's going to be a big factor here. And the fact that they can contain explosiveness, I think that gives the Wildcats legs.
Yeah, Kentucky doesn't like to play fast. And if for whatever reason they're up here, they'll sit on it. They'll sit on the ball and just run this clock down. Yeah, I think this line has gotten too out of control, and I'm pretty low on Kentucky. So I won't be joining you on the side, but I do agree on the under.